cheap projector screens that promise premium performance but end up looking like a cheap vinyl roll are a nightmare you learn to avoid the hard way. I've seen a lot of folks spend a few $100s on a flimsy pull-down screen, only to discover it's riddled with glare, wrinkles, or a visible edge that ruins the movie night vibe. That hesitation, will this actually work in my living room, or am I just buying a fancy piece of cloth, is exactly why I spent a weekend digging through forums, watching unboxing videos, and reading every line of the Elite Screens Aeon CLR 5 manual before I hit record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Aeon CLR 5 is the kind of screen that tries to solve the two biggest pain points for home theater owners: ambient light and the space-hungry footprint of traditional rear projection setups. It's a fixed-frame, edge-free screen that's built to sit just a few inches from a short-throw projector, and its ALR, ambient light rejecting, surface is engineered to bounce the projector's light back toward the viewer while absorbing stray room light. In practice, that means you can actually watch a 1080p or 4K movie in a bright living room without the washed-out look you get on a standard white screen. Who should consider this screen? First, anyone who already has an ultra-short throw projector or is planning to buy one. If you've set up a projector on a coffee table or a low shelf, you've probably dealt with the keystone distortion that comes from throwing a big image from close range. The Aeon's matte black backing helps keep that distortion in check, and the ultra-thin bezel frame lets you place the screen almost flush with the wall, a real aesthetic win if you don't want a bulky frame dominating the room. It's also a solid pick for gamers who need a low-latency display but still want that cinematic feel. I tested it with a 120Hz gaming projector, and the ALR surface didn't introduce any noticeable lag or color shift, even during fast-moving scenes. On the other side of the ledger, if you're a pure home theater purist who can darken an entire room and already has a traditional rear projection screen, the Aeon's premium price might feel unnecessary. Its biggest advantage, the ability to shrug off ambient light, is largely moot in a dedicated home theater that's already blacked out. Likewise, renters who can't mount a fixed frame permanently should think twice. While the screen is lightweight and the frame is designed for easy installation, it does require a few screws into the wall for a secure fit. If you're looking for a temporary, plug-and-play solution, a portable pull-down screen might be a better fit. The real-world setup experience is worth a detailed look because that's where many products stumble. The package comes with an ultra-thin aluminum frame, a set of mounting brackets, and a sliding rail system that lets you slide the screen into place. Assembly takes about 30 minutes if you have basic tools, and the edge-free design means there's no visible border to trim or hide. One thing to note, the frame is light enough that you need to be careful when aligning it on the wall. A few mis-drilled holes and you could end up with a slightly crooked screen. Once it's up, though, the screen sits perfectly flat, and the tension system keeps the surface taut without the balloon effect you sometimes see on cheaper fixed frames. Now, let's talk about the everyday usability. I placed the Aeon in a family room with large windows, a few floor lamps, and a ceiling fan that spins occasionally. With the lights on, the picture retained deep blacks and vibrant colors. The ALR coating really does a solid job of rejecting the daylight that would otherwise wash out a standard white screen. During a daytime basketball game, the screen's contrast stayed strong enough that you could still see the fine details of the players' uniforms without the whites looking gray. In a darker setting, after we dimmed the lights for a movie marathon, the image was just as crisp, and the surface didn't show the hotspot issue some cheaper ALR screens suffer from, where the center appears brighter than the edges. One practical weakness that shows up after a week of use is the screen's susceptibility to dust. Because the surface is matte black, any speck of dust becomes visible as a tiny bright spot when the projector throws light on it. This isn't a deal breaker, but it does mean you'll want to keep a microfiber cloth handy for occasional wipes. Another nuance is the viewing angle. The Aeon's ALR material is optimized for a fairly direct line of sight. If you're sitting far off center, you may notice a slight shift in color saturation. For most living rooms, where the seating is roughly centered, this isn't a problem, but a large, open-plan space with seats scattered around the perimeter could experience a dip in image consistency. The value proposition of the Aeon CLR 5 really comes from the combination of its ALR technology and the edge-free frame. You're paying